Welcome to the fourth episode of Just Drinking Problems. Now, I know last episode we did transgender stuff, but I couldn't help it. Saw this video, and I didn't want to do another poll on SciWith.com. I think it'd be a little more interesting and more engaging to just for us to comment and give our opinions based off of a video. I think it's a little more engaging. So let's check that out. So we found this video. It's on YouTube, but also I found it originally on TikTok. Yeah, I watch TikTok. It comes from, it has some little logo at the bottom of the screen here, Social Justice Warrior, SJW, with some crazy little icon picture. But basically, this chick is part of, or a leader of, an organizer of some club at her college, on her campus, that organizes get-togethers or leads and events to support their social justice warrior agenda. And she put this out to her followers, and we're going to watch it together and comment on it. You ready?
Yep.
Leah Thompson has already been covered in national news as a trans woman in sports about how it's unfair for her to be competing in these events, and also just spewing transphobic rhetoric. And this week it's really gonna be bad. My university, yes, I'm in university, I'm old, but we are the ones hosting this event, and therefore I am seeing what's about to happen a little before the rest of you guys, and I'm telling you to be aware and protect yourself and your trans friends. The Leadership Institute, Turning Point US.
All right. So first off, she says a couple of things. One, she says she's old because she's in college. So clearly she's intending this message to be for, or she knows her followers are younger than college age. And that's fucked up. And she said the word transphobic. And I don't think we talked about this last episode.
Not even a minute in.
Yeah.
She's already triggering people.
Yeah, and telling people to protect themselves.
And your trans friends.
Yeah, because they obviously need protection. When we also covered that school shooting in Nashville, and that was a transgender woman, as they would call it. But obviously, it's one of these weirdos that went and shot up a bunch of innocent, unarmed teachers and students, right? So they don't need protection. If anything, society needs protection from their psychoness. And again, I don't think we covered the word transphobic. If you say something phobic, that means basically you fear that thing, or your opinions are based off of fear of that thing. And nobody fears some weirdo that's pretending to be a different gender. Because they may say, like, okay, I may be a biological male, but I'm a trans woman. That's not a freaking thing, dude. You're a dude dressed up as the opposite gender, dressed up like a girl. You can't be a woman. You're not a woman. You're never going to breastfeed. You can't get pregnant. I don't care what anybody says. All this is fucking psycho, right? So already, I'm triggered. If there's a such thing as being triggered, boy, I'm triggered. What do you think about her? Because she looks like a nice person. Like, if I saw her on the corner, like, I passed her in a convenience store, I'd be like, okay, she seems to me, she comes off like she's very cleanly dressed and, you know, takes care of herself, or her face, her hair. Like, she seems like a very nice person. Like, I'd be super polite to this person if she was a stranger. But she never opened her mouth and said this shit, right?
Yeah.
What is your first impression?
I mean, she looks like she's 12.
Yeah?
But she's in university.
No, she's old. She's in university.
Who calls it university?
Mm.
Like, I mean, look, down here in the South, we call it college.
Yeah.
I don't know. So.
Them old college days.
Uh-huh. But, I mean, just right off the bat, I already don't like her. And maybe that's being judgmental.
You're so judgmental and hateful. You bigot.
I don't give a shit.
You're probably a fascist. Or one of them dirty Republican people, aren't you?
I'm so dirty.
Ew.
Yeah, no.
That's kind of hot. Can you say that again?
Stop. No, honestly, I'm just kind of pissed off that she has the American flag behind her. That's bullshit.
Okay, hold on. All right, so I got this from, I originally found this video on Libs of TikTok, and Liz of TikTok put this background. I don't think she did that. I think they did it. So
Either way,
really,
it's
this is her
disgrace
background
to the flag. Libs
with
of
her
TikTok.
face. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? I'll move on to the next.
Yeah, just keep playing it.
Okay.
Say other, like, in general, hateful groups are already campaigning on my campus, spewing this hateful rhetoric. On Monday, they've booked out an entire lecture hall to talk about why men shouldn't be in women's sports. And it's by Matt Walsh. I'm actually vice president of my university's LGBT club, which is how I am in this circle, and sharing this information with you. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do. We're afraid of violence, and having our club members and LGBT people being directly confronted with not only transphobia, but violence potentially. So we have decided to not directly confront them, but we are hosting many events that are LGBT centered.
Okay. What's your timeout?
First of all, the fact that she's saying they're afraid of violence and this, that, and the other for someone freaking using their Second Amendment right to free speech. I mean, First
Hold
Amendment.
up.
God damn it! Look, I'm so stuck on
Shit
the
with
guns.
words, babe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a
Well,
bad thing.
we just did that, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm thinking about violence, and anyway, because I literally just had the gun violence, and I'm like, guns don't commit violence. Anyway.
They're messing with your head, babe.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
You better drink some more and wash that liberal shit out.
It's the ADHD. I have like all kind of stuff going on in here that I can't, Anyway, so first of all, she's already putting a negative narrative against people.
Now she mentioned Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
Which that dude's like awesome. He's
Agreed.
young. When I first looked at him, I thought like somewhere in the 30s, like later 30s even, because he seems so mature and well dressed, and like he just looks like he's older than me. That dude's like 29, 30-ish.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's playing the victim, and that's what I cannot stand. It's BS. It's bullshit. Because while yes, people out there are hateful and are going to say mean things and this, that, and the other, but you're the one that's putting yourselves in the spotlight and asking for all the attention for a minority when it's not what probably the majority. I mean, maybe at her college, I don't know, but I feel like they're just putting themselves out there for a reason, and then calling all this attention to themselves, and then just throwing hate at everybody else because they may not agree. Like, you're the one that's freaking inciting violence or saying you should be scared for your life and protect yourself and your trans friends because someone is speaking.
Well, yeah, they have to make themselves a victim. They have to make it look like they're oppressed. And when you said maybe there are mean people out there saying mean things, like, that's not what I'm seeing. It's not like I went to this event, but overall, whenever you do, like, if you Google Matt Walsh and look at some of his lectures or speeches that he gives on college campuses, you can hear the people outside of their auditorium, whatever room they're in to give the speech, and they're ranting and say all kind of dumb shit, and they have to have a whole bunch of security in order to make this thing a safe space, like not their safe space, like an actual safe environment for the students and anyone in the audience to get to that room and to sit down and wait for their speech. They're not the ones outside saying rude and mean things, being obscene, or throwing things, or making threats, or any of that really fucking dumbass behavior, right? They're trying to go inside and sit down and be quiet and respectful to the speaker because they want to hear what's being said. It's always the people outside that are causing problems, and the reason that they need security, right? So they're saying they're not going to confirm. They're going to hold a separate event somewhere else because of fear of violence. That's never the freaking case. Like, they love to talk shit about Trump rallies and how they're so violent, and they believe in guns and all this. They try to throw out some kind of story to make right-leaning people seem awful. but it's never the freaking case. Like most of the time, and there've been videos I've watched of like left-leaning people just curious and go to these things and document it, make some type of vlog out of it in a video, and they're like, yeah, these people, they tell me they don't agree with me, but they're glad that I'm there and they want to share their ideas and opinions. And even though we oppose, they still respect me as a person. Like, I think the right is actually inclusive and welcoming.
Great.
And they want to educate people and share their opinions and views. And if you don't agree, they don't hate you. They're not calling you names. They're not trying to cancel you or shut you up. It's always the left. The lefties say one thing and do the exact 180-degree fucking opposite. Always. No matter what they say, no matter whatever terms they use, the truth is 180-degree opposite. And I see that all the time. So obviously, I don't trust her.
Yeah.
On to some more?
Sure.
Okay. What's she gonna say now?
This week, so people have a safe and welcoming space, and we are not staying quiet this week about this. But unfortunately, we cannot directly fight them. But yeah, I'm not making this up. They put this on a friend of mine's car who has Pride bumper stickers and a Bernie sticker, so they were just mocking and targeting this person at this point. Maybe they didn't realize, but yeah, this is what they're putting around my campus. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can rewind this a little bit. Get that beautiful man back up there. All right, this dude, he don't look like some kind of violent asshole to me. This dude's not like, he's not a badass. Sure, he has a beard.
Looks like a male librarian.
Yeah, he does. He looks like he'd be a Sunday school teacher, or this is the dad that will offer to bring snacks to the soccer team on Saturday. Like that dude. Nothing about the way he's dressed or his face, like that beard. Yeah, okay, that beard may be intimidating if you can't grow one too, and maybe if you pretend to be a man but you really can't grow a beard like that, like yeah, that's intimidating. But otherwise, like look at those glasses. That dude looks like he's smart, not angry and mean and rude and hateful. Yeah. No, it's like why men don't belong in women's sports. Oh my God. That's not some type of message that's going to inspire people to commit a violent act. There's nothing about this that screams to me that there could be trouble or you need to warn your people about this event. And she's complaining that somebody, there's definitely some type of school club organization that's invited Matt to the campus that are putting out these flyers and letting people know, like, hey, he's coming, it's going to be here this time, come get your tickets or whatever. And they're putting it on cars. And she's saying, yeah, they're obviously provoking my friend because my friend has lefty bumper stickers.
How do you know that they don't just want them to come and listen and offer an opposition and see if they can talk about things like civil people?
Maybe so, but more likely they're probably putting it on all the cars in the parking lot until they run out of damn flyers. They're not trying to target people. Like they probably got some shit to do to get ready for this event, and they're not out there only putting their flyers on people's cars that are most likely not going to participate in the event.
Yeah. That's
dumb. She dumb. I already don't like her. She really does. She looks like she could be a 12, 13-year-old boy. And who wears fucking turtlenecks? Suspicious.
Maybe she lives up north. Who knows?
Suspicious.
Goes to university.
Turtleneck girl.
This is what they're putting around my campus. And we're going to be giving out these instead. But yeah, that's really all I had to say. I just wanted to bring that to your attention and let you guys know, please be nice and kind to people this week and check in on your friends. That's all.
I find this train of thought that...
Okay, so, whoa. That dude looks like a demon, a nose ring, and now he's like, okay, bad time to pause it. All right, so that chick's done. It's going to move on to this dude. I don't know what he identifies as, but... And then I think there's one or two after him.
Is that not Leah Thomas?
No. It's hard to tell though, right? So anyway, she was silly, but now we're moving on to this guy. So let's see.
Hold up.
What?
Are you sure that's the correct pronoun?
Yeah, for me to use when I see this person. Yeah, I don't know what he identifies as, but I don't really care.
I was talking about the one before that. I was being
facetious.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely be wrong because it definitely does look like a 12, 13-year-old boy, but I'm gonna lean on the side of female. Definitely female.
Okay.
All right, let's see what this is about.
Trans women are transitioning to compete in women's sports. Incredibly bizarre because as someone who's gone through hormonal transition and is still doing so, and who has evidence, like personal, circumstantial, anecdotal evidence, that going through hormone replacement therapy has dramatically changed my strength levels, my power levels overall. Do you genuinely, legitimately think that trans women are transitioning to win at women's sports? Especially given, we are under such social pressure in society, being the target of a moral panic right now around our very existence. Who's going to go through the stress and the trauma of transitioning just to win at athletic competitions? Honestly, do you really think that's what's happening here?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Because you're freaking losers and you can't compete against your own gender, so you're transitioning into pretending to be a woman and competing against women, and they're winning, obviously, because they have a severe advantage. And yeah, I think they love the attention, they love winning at something, and they're getting away with it. That's exactly what I think they're doing.
I agree. It's fucking bullshit, and it's stupid that it's even allowed or was even ever considered as something that we should even be discussing.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. But I have, on a good note, I have heard in a few places that some bills are being passed and have been passed to stop men in women's sports. And again, I don't care what terminology they use or how much they want to make themselves feel like they're oppressed or a victim or people upset that they even exist or whatever. The fact is, we have two genders and there's men's sports and women's sports, and men all have been competing in women's sports, and it's completely unfair. And I do think they're motivated and taking advantage of the fact that people haven't stopped them. And honestly, I don't care. I believe in freedom. And all of my personal opinions on any topic comes from my belief in personal freedom, right? So if you're a male and you want to live your life like a female, I'm definitely not going to believe that you are, and I'll definitely use he, him, whatever the fuck I want to. But I will respect your freedom and your rights as a person to live your life how you want to. Whether I agree with it or not, it's none of my goddamn business.
Yeah.
Until you make yourself the center of attention, of course you're going to get attention and people aren't going to agree with it. So it may be negative attention and people are going to have opinions about it, and that's their right. All right. Anything? You good?
Yeah.
I summed it up?
Very nicely.
Got you.
I'm curious, how do you explain that?
In regards to Leah
Holy
Thomas, I
shit.
would like to say this. It frustrates me that society seems so focused on the possibility that a single trans woman might have an unfair competitive advantage, when there are so many other ways that a person could obtain an unfair competitive advantage that are considered perfectly acceptable. Leah goes to an Ivy League school. What about her teammates that grew up with money, who grew up with the ability to have a swim trainer to...
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let him finish, because I have a point that I want to make.
Okay.
Go to swim lessons
Tell me
from
when.
a young age. How is that not an unfair competitive advantage? Well, we shouldn't fault somebody for the circumstances of their birth. Well, what about the circumstances of Leah's birth? Y'all just hate to see a trans woman win. That's all this is.
All right, I think we're time to stop it. Let's see what you got. Hit me.
So, you're telling me that putting in hard work is an unfair advantage. Just because mommy and daddy have money and they go to an Ivy League school and can pay for freaking trainers and special whatever, doesn't mean shit. You put in the work, you train, you can do it too. Like fucking Michael Jordan and LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. Right?
The black.
I don't care. I'm using it as an
Oh,
analogy.
that's not their advantage because they're black?
My point is, they came from nothing. They worked hard.
Yeah.
Extremely hard. I don't know. There's a video going around about how one of the basketball stars was practicing, and I think it was Kobe, maybe, or LeBron. Like, he would go in hours before the game and shoot and layups, free throws, and something about how, you know, he saw him there, so he came in even earlier because he wanted him to know, you can't outwork me. Like, that is the idea and the mantra that you need to have. Genetics, you can't outwork genetics.
Yeah.
It's how you're effing born.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that that is not an unfair advantage.
That's fair as
Regardless
fuck.
of how long you've been on hormone blockers and this, that, and the other, men are built differently than women.
Yep.
From, like, I mean, you're going to have plastic surgery to change the shape of, for example, swimmers, you know, the broad shoulders, the waistline, that makes you more water fluid, not aerodynamic, but that essentially for the water, whatever that is, you know, like
Aquadynamics?
I don't know
I don't
either.
know
If it's a thing.
It sounds legit.
Okay, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Right. So unless he's going to go have surgery to widen his hips, like, you know, childbearing age women have, that, you know, that's more like, that's going to cut or add seconds to his time if he did that. You can't fucking change genetics and you can't outwork it. So don't tell me that he doesn't have an unfair, I'm sorry, well, Leah Thomas doesn't have an unfair advantage.
You got it right. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I wanted to make the point that I was talking about Leah Thomas and not this guy.
Okay, yeah, no,
That's
he ain't
all.
swimming nowhere. He'd mess up his fucking lipstick. And look at this eyeshadow.
Yeah.
And he got his male haircut, but he had to dye it. There's no way. I don't know if you noticed this. I've noticed, and like you can kind of pick these motherfuckers out. They can't be true social justice warriors and represent their cause unless they dye their hair. It's like a prerequisite for saying the things that they say. Like, oh wait, hold on, don't make a video until you dye your hair in obscene color. It's like I think it's a rule book. Like, here's a handbook for being a social justice warrior. Like, no one's gonna listen to you until you dye your hair some kind of fucked up color.
Is it like platinum or something, like silver?
I don't know, but you can kind of see from the side of his head. He's a dark-haired person, and he has some facial hair, which it definitely, that facial hair, he should shave it because it does nothing for his lipstick. Absolutely, it takes away from the color. Like, dude, come on, look in the mirror. And his eyebrows, you can tell that's natural, right? You should have dyed them too. Half step in your ass. All right, so
or at least got them like plucked, or what's that fancy thing they do to eyelashes? I don't even know. Something with a string and then like and they pull them things out.
Never done it. I couldn't tell you.
Me either. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a true woman if I've never had. I don't even know what it's called. Anyway,
I don't even remember what this dude said. But let's see what he says next.
That's all this has ever been.
I just wanted to speak to a bit of the discourse that's been surrounding Leah Thomas. I grew up a competitive swimmer. It was a sport that I gave so much of my life to. And it's been really hard to see people all of a sudden, one, pay attention to the sport that they never gave the time of day to. And two, to pay attention to it, to push an incredibly transphobic and harmful and life-threatening narrative.
All right, hold up. All right, you seem to have an idea in your head, but I'm going to get to this one. Again, the transphobic thing, not a goddamn motherfucking person is scared of men trying to be women. That's the least threatening shit I've ever heard of. No one's scared. Quit saying phobic. That's so dumb. Come up with a new term that makes sense. No one's scared of dudes trying to be little girls. Nobody's scared of that. And life-threatening? The only people that are killing transgender people are themselves. So if you think us pushing some narrative is making these people depressed, no, they're already mentally fucked. And they're committing suicide because their brains are scrambled. No one's trying to hurt these people. No one's advocating for hurting these people. All they're saying is, we don't believe you're a woman because you're a man. We're not dumbasses. We don't want you competing against women, and it ruins the sport. Even if we weren't huge fans of women's competitive swimming, right? Because who is? That's not like some kind of big moneymaker sport. It's not like something that people put a block in their schedule to watch on Monday night or something. Like, sure, it's not one of the most popular sports. But when it comes down to it, we don't agree that men should be able to compete against women in any sport. So, yeah, we're going to voice our opinions about it, and it's not life-threatening. We're not scared of these men racing against women. It's just not right. And someone that witnesses something as extremely retarded as this voices their opinion. No, it's not an attack on one person. We're not calling for an act of violence, and we're definitely not fearful of them. It's just ridiculous. What you got?
I mean, I agree with everything you just said.
Thank you.
But
me too.
All these videos seem to have a theme.
Mm-hmm.
They all start off with transphobic and
dumb,
playing the victim.
Yeah.
That's literally how they lead into this.
Yep. Feel sorry for me. Poor little old me. Nobody understands. And all these mean, hateful people are saying all these terrible things. It's awful. Because I live in fairy tale land and everyone else doesn't, and it's not right, it's not fair. It's fucking retarded. Really, I don't know. I can't relate to these people, right? And the other dude was a dude. I'm a dude, right? That's clearly a difference between me and this chick. Biologically, we're different genders. Mm-hmm. I'm one, she's the other, because there's only two. So there's some differences between us, but I should be able to relate to her because clearly she's an American and she speaks English, right? We should have a whole lot more in common than we do differences. I can't relate at all to their thinking and their whole mindset on reality because she believes in it so much that she's going to record herself in her car and put it on the internet for everyone, right? We should be more alike than different. And I can't relate to her at all.
Because you're a logical thinker.
And she's a psycho.
And that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
None of it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. This is going to make me drink more. That's okay.
Yeah.
Leah Thomas followed the rules. She more than followed the rules.
What?
To be able to compete on the women's team. Leah Thomas was an incredible swimmer before transitioning, and it should be no shock that she's continued to work her ass off and has won the 500 freestyle.
Okay. All right. First off, Leah was I don't know. I probably should Google this just so I can correctly talk shit. But his name is not Leah.
You want me to Google it real quick?
Yeah, do it. Because, now I'm fucking interested. So, first, wrong name. And this woman on the freaking screen right here is saying she worked her ass off. No, because I, unfortunately, saw a picture of Leah Thomas in its onesie, his little one-piece swimsuit. And let me tell you one thing. It was from the back, at a distance. I saw the head to toe with a pool and everything around. There was absolutely no way in hell that it looked anything like a woman. You could completely tell that was a man's legs, a man's ass, a man's hips, a man's shoulders. It was disgusting. If I would have saw a woman in that same swimsuit, I would have looked a little bit longer. Because that's attractive to me. I'm naturally attracted to the female shape, especially a female athlete because they're fit. But did you find it? What is it?
Will Thomas.
Will Thomas.
Change his gender to become Leah Thomas.
He didn't change shit.
I know.
You can't change shit.
I know.
Even if you cut off your dick, you're still a dickless man.
Agreed.
I cannot be a polar bear. Polar bears are white? Fuck shit, me too. I can't be a polar bear, no matter how bad I want to. I can get a little suit and be a fucking furry. I can't be a polar bear. It's impossible. I also can't be a woman. I also can't be black. Even though that would be super cool sometimes.
Yeah.
I can be awesome. I get me fucking 15s in my trunk. Sitting on 22s. I can wear a flat bill sideways and gold chain. Like, that'd be awesome. For a little bit. Yeah, maybe I'll get like racially profiled by the cops. Anyway.
And then you just wipe off your makeup and be like,
I can say the N-word.
Man.
I can say the N-word. And you know what? That's another thing. I go, all right, off the topic, but I gotta say this. Why do black people hate when white people say the N-word, but they'll call each other that and say it 1 trillion times in rap songs? Like it's freaking cool. And they'll talk how badass they are and want to be a real one. But somebody from a different skin tone can't call them. Like, that don't make no sense to me. If it's a word, anyone should be able to say it. And the only reason I'm not saying it right now is because I don't want this immediately to get deleted by YouTube or Rumble or any of the podcast hosts I'm going to put this on and then get some kind of civil lawsuit put on me. But it really is bullshit. If you call yourself that, like if you called yourself a woman, but you said I can't say the word woman, it's the same thing. It's fucking retarded. Anyway.
Another video, another day.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Back to this.
I don't even remember where we stopped at.
Yeah, me neither.
The point she was making, it was just so
She didn't
obscene.
really have one. It was dumb.
Oh, at the NCAAs. With that.
Oh, yeah.
If you were...
What you got some? Let's hear it.
Leah Thomas was a great swimmer. Leah Thomas was a great swimmer before she worked her ass off.
Nope.
Didn't it just say that Will Thomas was like 462nd in the men's league?
Yep.
And then to go to number 1?
Yeah, so if I was Will Thomas and I can claim I changed my name to Leah and became a woman and then whoop these bitches' asses in the pool and be number 1 and get all of this national freaking attention and a bunch of people saying how great I am and how brave I am and I'm like this freaking hero for this small minority group of people in the country while that type of or that subject is getting a ton of attention itself. That's genius. And I'm sure there's a way to monetize that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. When Leah Thomas, was that on the Bud Light can or was that somebody else?
No, that was somebody else. I don't remember that dude's name.
Either way.
I definitely ain't drinking no fucking Bud Light no more. Oh, but I did hear that the marketing director or head or manager, whatever their position is called, they're not there no more.
Imagine that.
Yeah, because shareholders matter a lot more than social justice at real companies that depend on making a profit.
Yep.
Which I don't
really understand how it went all the way up to the who made that decision and like how come nobody was like maybe that's not a good idea. Yeah. Regardless of whether you believe it or not, you're literally shitting on every other goddamn woman and person and everything else in the world. Like,
okay, so I get that it's a big topic now and is getting a lot of headlines and attention in social media and traditional media and it's getting talked about.
Oh, you said it, minority.
Yeah, it's such a tiny percentage of our population, at least in this country. Well, all over the world, definitely, but definitely in this country, because most countries don't give a fuck. But it's such a tiny amount of people that consider themselves transgender. And whether you're a lefty or more of a conservative, that's half the people, right? I would say that roughly half the people will vote Democrat and half the people will vote Democrat or Republican. But there's also a big major portion of people that don't claim either way and they may go back and forth come voting time. But regardless, if you're a company that sells a product, you want everyone to buy your product. And there's some people that just won't because they don't like it or they don't, because of the beer, they don't drink beer. right? But the amount of people that are in the market to purchase a beer, you don't want to cut half of those motherfuckers out because you went with this outrageous marketing scheme. Like, so they have to live in their own world where they think the most important thing, and they're doing something positive and good for the company to go on a marketing scheme like that. I just don't get it. It don't make any sense to me at all. They don't realize that was a dumbass move. But then a bunch of they put some type of transgender what they call a drag queen. They put a drag queen on a Cheez-Its box, and I fucking love Cheez-Its. That shit's so good. But I can't fucking eat them now because it makes me angry. Why? Why don't companies just participate in the business of selling their product without having a political agenda? It don't make any freaking sense to me, man. Like, if you're already a successful company, keep doing what you're doing. If you're trying to draw more attention or more sales, don't alienate half the freaking population of the country that you're selling in by coming out with a clearly one-sided advertisement. Because people vote for the president, right?
Mm-hmm.
Way more people vote with their money. Every dollar is a legit vote. And when companies pick one side over the other, they're pissing away half the population that may have considered to buy their product. It's just a terrible business idea. Unless you create a business that's focused, your market, the what do they call it? Your target market or your niche, yeah, is purposely built for that side of the political spectrum, then okay. But for somebody like a beer company or a cracker company, I mean, like a snack cracker, just to be clear, like, you're trying to sell to everybody, all ages, all political views, all everything, right? Everybody eats Cheez-Its, you know what I mean?
You said beer also, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anybody over 21 could possibly purchase Bud Light.
Yeah, I get it.
Or their parent company, Anheuser-Busch, right? Because they do other brands other than just Bud Light. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's so dumb. How can these people do? And they gotta be smart. They gotta have degrees and shit. I don't. How do they have to believe in their political opinions so much that it clouds their judgment as a business person? That's the only way it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But it's clearly stupid.
What's more stupid is that it went through the entire chain and nobody said, hey, maybe that's not good to alienate people or to pick a side or to make something political, a political statement, like that. It went all the way through to production and on the shelf.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah, there definitely wasn't just one person calling that shot. Other people had to see it.
Yeah.
And should have voiced an opinion.
I'm sure people did, but it got shot down.
And then after they realized how awful the market accepted that advertisement, they came back and made a new commercial and had some old school white cowboy voice dude that was narrating a commercial about a horse running in the heartland of America, and like they tried to save face. Like, no, bro, you've already fucked up.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Would you buy a box of Cheez-Its or a beer can if it had man, woman, child, he, she, them, they, like everybody on it? So there was inclusion of everybody. Would you buy that?
What you mean? So I bought a box of Cheez-Its that just had a bunch of random people on it?
Yeah. A drag queen, a transgender man, a transgender woman, a man, a woman, like everybody. So I'm just curious.
Whether you have 1 or 5, no. It's still the same message they're trying to send on their box of crackers.
No, I'm asking you if they included all types of people.
No, because they're still trying to sell the same idea.
Okay, I was just curious.
Because every other time I've purchased Cheez-Its, there was nobody on there.
Agree.
So if you purposely put in an image on your product that includes these type of minorities? No. It's not that I only care about a certain group of people, but when you purposely market one type of person because there's so much attention given to that, it rubs me the wrong way. And I don't want to give you my money.
Okay.
I would much rather a business that produces a product like a snack cracker to only focus on that product and that market to a very small group of people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if Bud Light or Cheez-It never tried to make that freaking move, I'd buy their shit because I like both of them. Honestly, I like eating Cheez-Its and I like drinking Bud Light, or I did.
I mean, even doing them at the same time, it's even better.
Yeah, and then like most people are used to Budweiser or Bud Light commercials using frogs or the Waza. I don't remember that one. Or these badass horses. Like they've built their brand around it. To completely do a 180 change to this shit, no, it's gonna throw your customer base off completely. And clearly they see that now, but I really can't comprehend that a business person would be like, that's a great, because I see these people sitting around a table and they're doing like some kind of brainstorm marketing meeting, and someone brings this dumb shit up, and everybody around the table is like, that's a great idea, Bill. We should do that. Well, I think Bill should get fired because that's a dumbass move. It just don't make any sense. And I really don't understand it, and I don't even like thinking about it too much because it freaking hurts my head. You know, I'm like, clearly this is dumb. You're in the business making money, and you're literally shitting on a lot of people that give you money.
Yeah.
It don't make sense. All right, let's get back to this retard. What is she saying?
For one to post, I don't care if you're trans, I support trans people, but this just isn't fair. Whether you mean to or not, you are contributing to an incredibly harmful narrative. Trans people operate at a very high risk just throughout their day-to-day lives. They suffer from higher rates of murder, suicide, depression, homelessness, just violence.
Again, they're making themselves the victim. They're making themselves sound like they're oppressed. Where is all this violence at? I haven't seen it. Am I just blind? Have I been under a rock? Because the only things that I've witnessed are been shown, and from any source, is the opposite. Right? There's been 3 freaking murderers that identified as some trans bullshit that have killed people. Not people coming in mobs to murder trans people. Like, it doesn't exist. So literally the exact opposite of what she said. Like I said earlier, 180 degrees of what they say is reality.
So, where the fuck is she getting these numbers from?
She's making them up.
Obviously.
Because I would actually be on their side. If we had a problem, like there was multiple events where people ganged up together on these transgender people and were beating them down on the streets or stabbing them or shooting them or doing something like that, I'd be like, bro, that's so fucked. Yeah. Leave these goddamn people alone. But it's not happening. It's the opposite. These people are on so many medications, hormone blockers, and all kind of like brain psychological medications. Like, what do you have any idea what these people are taking? Like when their brain chemistry and hormones are off base and they're taking like antidepressants and shit like that?
I mean, no, I don't know like specifics. I can name antidepressants. I don't have any in my current line of work. So
well,
I just don't know.
Without Googling some of these people that have committed mass murders and school shootings and stuff, and fact checking myself, I've heard that all these people are on some type of drugs or multiple concoction of drugs, and a few of them for sure have identified as a gender they obviously weren't. So I feel like these people are crazy, which you kind of have to be.
So you're saying the mass murderers and the people who shoot up schools are all on some antipsychotic or depression or some like psycho mental health issue. Okay, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and you clearly have to be fucked in the head to go around shooting people.
Specifically at a school with children.
Yeah, like there's no way you're a sane, normal ass person. And then she's literally advocating a narrative or a message that's 180% from reality. Like she lives in opposite land. Every day is opposite day for her. I don't get it. Like, is she just stupid? Because I like to think that this is a college student. Right? She had to at least make the grades and get some grant and go into some college or university and furthering her education. Like, but how can you be that dumb? I mean,
like, I feel like she was just going with something and got away with her, and she's just making shit up now.
So she's fallen like victim to a message?
Yeah.
Like she's brainwashed?
I mean, I don't know if I necessarily call it brainwashed, but she probably heard somebody else say that, or somebody else. She never actually looked it up herself, right? She's going off of what he said and she said, and it's gone through 15 million other people.
Yeah.
And it's not actually true.
So her reality comes from her phone screen.
Very possible.
The algorithm has shown her more of what she has hearted or liked.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, she probably isn't trying to be wrong or a bad person. She's thinking with her heart. And if there's some bad issue in our communities, that these people are being abused or put down or somehow being made as outcast, then she feels bad for them and she's trying to advocate for them. And in that case, then yeah, she's probably genuinely a sweet person on the inside, but she's not thinking logically and looking at the world as a bigger picture, or the country as a bigger picture, or society, or like actual statistics. She's just listening to more people like herself.
Yeah. What I would be curious to know, if you compare what she just said, more rates of suicides and homelessness and this and that, I imagine that veterans probably have the highest rates of, if I'm not mistaken, in comparison.
Yeah.
The people who have literally been through a war, seen their friends die in front of them. So you could come on here and say this, and then anyway.
I think you're on the right path. You agree. So if someone is having some type of major mental breakdown and struggle, it's either somebody who clearly has a first world privilege and believes in this bullshit, or someone who's actually gone somewhere where people tried to kill them every day and watch their brothers in arms get fucking killed in a horrible way. Like, yeah, I lean towards them as being more accepting to their mental challenges, right? Like, that's a damn good excuse for having a mental issue. Mm-hmm. Like, suffering from PTSD because you actually witnessed some shit in your life. When these people just watched some social media and decided that they're going to be a girl when they're a boy, right? And a lot of these people, like, they're not even gay.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing if you were, and again, I'm not some kind of psychologist or doctor. I don't research this in my free time. It don't consume my life. And I don't know if you choose to be homosexual or you're born that way or whatever. Maybe some people are in both camps. But these people aren't even attracted to the same sex. They just decide that they feel like or they want to be the opposite sex or gender. And I feel like those are the same things. Because there's even some people that want to dress up like a drag queen or identify as a woman and dress that way, put on the makeup, grow their hair out, boost that on their social media platforms. But they still get married, they still have kids, and they still have sex with the opposite gender. Like, so again, that's weird, and I totally don't understand that. And if someone can explain it to me, I'd definitely be open to hearing an explanation that made sense.
Yeah.
But the only thing I can come up with to explain it to myself is that they have a mental illness. And then instead of trying to help these people with their mental illness, we encourage their mental illness. Like, way to go. Keep it up, girl. You know, like, it don't make sense. All right, what else you got to say?
It's directed against them, discrimination in the workplace, like the list goes on. And you saying that they should be excluded from this one aspect of society just fuels the narrative in all other aspects of society. Also, if you are living in the state of Texas and you claim to support trans people, you cannot vote for Republicans. You cannot. Whether it's the bathroom bill or excluding trans youth from school sports or this recent effort to take trans kids out of their loving and affirming homes in the guise of child abuse, like you cannot say that you support trans people and then vote otherwise and vote against their interests in ways that are life threatening.
Bitch, don't tell me how to vote. Can't tell me don't vote for Republicans. You're literally trying to guilt trip me not to vote a certain way and trying to make me feel like a bad person if I support common sense. I don't like her no more at all.
Did you actually ever like her to begin with?
Well, not really. But for a second there, I'm thinking it's not her fault. She's been brainwashed and fell victim to this social media narrative that's being pushed like really hard. But now I don't like her at all. Don't tell me how to fucking vote. And I lost my coaster. God damn it.
Well, why don't you grab it?
I'm gonna do it.
Okay, let's see if those headphones will reach that far.
All right.
Good job, babe.
I'm doing all kind of shit now. Got it. You wanted to see?
You can always
Rebelshirts.com coaster. Right there. It's cool, man. Oh, check out my shirt. I mean, I don't know if maybe you identify as somebody that has titties even though you don't, which brings up the question, these men who identify as women, do you think they're all getting like breast implants or there's like stuff in their bras? Like how's I don't know. But I'm definitely not talking about trans women when I say can I motorboat. That's just a cool ass shirt. I like it. Can I motorboat?
Sure.
God damn, I love you. All right.
I don't remember what I was going to say about her, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Like, the stakes are really high. And for you to die on a hill in the realm of competitive swimming just makes absolutely no sense. So if this is the first time that you've decided to speak on trans issues or that you've even like tried to educate yourself, and the narrative you're pushing is that you just don't think it's fair to women's sports, like, take a step back. Really look at why there's still inequities in women's sports. It has nothing to do with Leah, and, like, stop using her as a scapegoat. It's incredibly dangerous. Like,
all right, it's not dangerous, and we're not using anyone as an scapegoat. We don't need one. She fucking
put herself there.
Yeah.
Or him, whatever it is.
Yeah. Kind of fucked up that we can go back and forth on those pronouns. That should never be a freaking issue in our language, the freaking pronouns. But God, it irks me so bad. Like, it's not dangerous.
Or life-threatening.
Yeah, no one is trying to hurt Will Thomas, whatever the fuck. She's clearly trying to sell a message here and guilt trip you into agreeing with her.
Yeah. I wonder what other inequities are there in women's sports? I'm curious. I mean, before men were playing like against women.
Well, that's the thing. These people that are playing these victim cards and claiming how they're so oppressed, and trying to guilt trip you and pulling your heartstrings to believe their narrative, they never give legit examples. They can't.
Or numbers.
Because they don't exist. It's all make-believe. It's all just a play on emotions. This shit is so fucking fake. And it's crazy how this is a thing and so many people actually believe in it.
First of all, don't tell me to take a step back.
Yeah, I know.
One, I'm not talking out or whatever about anything.
She's kind of cocky.
Right. I have a right to my own opinion. And we can have this conversation, and that's fine. But to tell someone to take a step back
and how to vote,
like you're literally trying to shut down the opposition.
Yep.
With emotions and feelings and not facts.
Yep.
And that's what pisses me off, because I'm a number, like, well, yes, obviously I'm a woman. I have emotions, and like you said, Ryder is playing on my emotions and my heartstrings, and he acts differently with me than you. And that's exactly what she's trying to do.
Yep.
But when it comes to like outside of you and Ryder, I don't give a shit. You like, don't tell me what I should believe and what I should think and when I should open my mouth and when I shouldn't.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's have a conversation about it. We can look up the numbers. We can research it. We can talk about it. But don't tell me to take a step back.
Yeah.
Shut up. Or don't vote. Or whatever.
Show me the evidence behind your argument and let me decide for myself.
Thank you.
But she has no evidence. And she has no statistics, no numbers, no examples. She's just claiming all this shit. It's retarded.
Take some time, educate yourself, and hop off that narrative. It's
bitch,
horrible.
Educate yourself.
She's as cocky as Leah Thompson because he has a cock. All right, so that's the end of that video.
Yeah.
Well, that was not fun. All right. Do we have a bonus topic today?
I mean, we didn't.
Do you want one? Do you have an idea for one?
I mean, we can do the other one we talked about that we were going to do with that other video that you texted me without ruining it now.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Let's Google something for it. Let's see. What should we ask? I'm typing. Why don't you start it off while I'm looking something up?
What?
Why don't you start talking about it while I'm looking something up?
Oh. So, obviously, bonus topic is marijuana, weed.
Mary Jane.
Yeah, there's
Cannabis.
all kinds of names for it. Keep it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So, have you ever smoked weed? Don't say nothing. Don't incriminate yourself. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so let's get away from all the confused people that live in fairy tale lands and don't know what reproductive organs mean. Let's look at this. So I Googled, should weed be illegal? And the first thing that comes up is this. An overwhelming share of U.S. adults, 88%, say either that marijuana should be legal for medical and recreational use by adults, 59%, or that it should be legal for medical use only. What the fuck?
So this and this equals 88. So 59% say medical and recreational.
And some say
and
medical
30
only.
Say medical only.
Okay. Just 1 in 10% say marijuana should not be legal, according to a Pew Research Center survey conducted on 10 to 16th October 2022. I feel
like that should say 11%, but hey, I can't math.
All right, whatever. No, what are you talking about? 1 in 10? Yeah, it's 10% all day.
59, 30, and 10. It's not 100.
Oh, I think that's separate. Because they're talking about 88% and the 59 and 30. Talking about the portion that say it should be legal, and then 1 in 10 say it should not be legal.
Either way, the combination of any and all of those numbers is still not a solid 100%.
It's two different numbers. Because this 88% say it should be legal.
Right.
In the makeup, the 88, 59 say it should be legal for medical and recreational use. 30% of that 88 say it should only be for
30 and 59 don't make 88 is what I'm trying to say.
And you know what? I'm going to stop bringing up numbers in this show because fuck math.
Okay. Anyway, an overwhelming majority support it. Got it.
Good. Because 88 is really close to fucking 100, right? And 1 in 10 is 10% say it should not be legal. That's very far away from 100. So I think what this is saying, and I'd actually agree with this Pew Research Center research. I agree. I think in what I'm gathering in my experience and the people I know and talked to about this subject and the things I've seen and heard, I agree. Most people don't think that weed should be illegal. Or they think that, yeah, I said it right. Okay. Because why? You know, why should weed be illegal? You have any opinion on that?
Why should it be illegal?
Yeah, because it is illegal. So, are there any pros to it being illegal? I can't think of any either. I think it became illegal because back in the day, tobacco companies were more like oil companies of today. Huge money, huge lobbying, you know? And whenever you have that much power backed by that much money, you kind of get your way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because all politicians are little dirty pieces of shit that will take your money and
greedy bastards.
And they will vote however you want as long as they're getting filthy rich.
Absolutely.
So the tobacco companies wanted weed to be illegal and hemp. Yeah, because really the marijuana plant could be used in so many different industries for so many different reasons and market it so well. It's a cash crop. But if you can make it illegal, then you're opening up the market or secluding it from the market, which creates more market share for your product if you're a tobacco company. So I think that's where that came from, the whole idea that weed's illegal. And they made a whole bunch of propaganda and spread a bunch of misinformation about how it affected the human body and how bad it was.
Imagine that from a tobacco company.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it became illegal off some bullshit.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to become legal in some states. It's still federally illegal, which I don't know if anyone's actually going to freaking hear or watch this. But if you do, I don't know if you are aware that if you live in a state that says it's legal for medical or recreational use, regardless, if the state that you live in say it's legal, it's still illegal federally. And whenever you go to purchase a firearm, you're going to fill out a Form 4. One of the questions on there is if you're a user of marijuana. And you can lie, which a lot of people do that use marijuana. But technically, it's not legal for you to purchase a firearm and be a marijuana user or consumer.
So if you're using it for medical purposes,
you can't buy a firearm legally.
Yes, yeah, I got that part. But my question is, do they have access to these? I mean, I get, you have protected health information, but the government's goddamn government. And, I'm curious if they actually keep track of that or use that information, or if they're making it like a reportable thing. Like, for example, you have to, at least here in Louisiana, you have to report, there's reportable diseases and conditions, right? So like some sexually transmitted infections are reportable, which I think is like, I don't know. Anyway.
Different topic?
Yeah. So my question is that if it's not already, that's going to be the next thing that they're going to push or whatever is to make that a reportable prescription or condition or whatever the case.
Yeah, sure, maybe. But the point is, while you may live in a state that says it's legal for medical use, right? So you go through a doctor, you get prescribed this, and it's perfectly fine. You may never have any problem with the law. But if it comes up where you use a firearm in self-defense because you're watching a movie at home and there's a home intruder, and then you rightfully defend yourself inside your home with a firearm, there's a possibility that the family of that intruder sues you and it's going to come up in court that you are a user of marijuana and you purchased this firearm within the time frame that you were a user of this marijuana. If they can prove that, then now you're a felon. Right? And maybe that's a far stretch hypothetical situation, but regardless of what your state says is okay, if it's still federally not legal, then you're putting yourself in jeopardy of becoming a felon, and getting a firearms charge. That's pretty serious. Like, that's big fines and big time in prison. And you know how many freaking, I don't know, but I know it's a lot of people that are in jail or prison and dealing with criminal charges from marijuana. That's not the same in my book as someone that you may share a cell with that raped children or murdered people. You know, like, that's totally two different things, but you could share a cell with that person because you decided to smoke weed in this country. That's outrageous. And I think anytime the government makes something illegal or puts a ban on something or doesn't allow their citizens to own it, possess it, use it, you're creating a black market.
Well, yeah.
Because anything that's illegal, whether it be a type of firearm, a hardcore drug, weed, like anything that's illegal, you can still find it. If you got the money and you look in the right places, you will still get it because the fact that it's illegal creates a underground market for it. And you could get weed anywhere at any time for forever since it's been illegal. You could grow it in your own goddamn backyard. Just because it's illegal does not mean shit if you want it.
Yeah.
You're just going against the law. So the fact that the government has a law against it makes you a criminal. And when it comes to weed, I really don't see any good. I've never heard a good reason why it should be illegal.
I can't think of one.
Yeah.
At least not like illegal.
Yeah, the worst thing I can think of associated with weed usage is the fact that it's likely you live in an area where it's illegal, so you can't get a safe supply of it. So if you choose to do it, you're going off the streets, that black market, that underground drug dealer.
It's laced with something or this and that.
Fentanyl, which is killing motherfuckers like crazy.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But if they did legalize it, not only would they create a tax revenue off of it, but it would be safe. So you're harming people and spending a lot of money trying to enforce those laws instead of making money by it being legal and keeping people safe. So I can't think of any good reason for weed to remain illegal in this country, but I can think of multiple reasons why it should be legal. And I'm not saying all drugs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just marijuana. It don't make any sense. I'm fully in support of it being federally legal. And if it comes down to the case like, okay, we'll operate heavy machinery, or I work in some kind of manufacturing job, or I'll have a driver's license, right? Or anything that you do that would basically cause you to get fired or arrested or come up under some kind of negative situation if you were under the influence of weed, well, it's no fucking different than alcohol, right? if I fucking if I drink a 6-pack and decide I want to drive down the road, well, that's illegal as shit. Same thing if I freaking smoke down a bowl and want to drive down the road. And I'm totally supportive of that. If you're not in a safe mental capacity, I don't think you should be putting yourself or other people on a public road in danger because you chose to alter your mental state with a substance. And I think that private companies should be able to fire you if you show up for work under some substance, you know? So treat marijuana just like alcohol. I can go to a liquor store and buy enough alcohol to kill my ass right now. You definitely can't freaking get some type of disease or destroy your freaking liver or die from marijuana. So if anything, marijuana is safer than alcohol because alcohol is literally a poison. That's why when you drink it and you get a buzz, it's because it's a poison. But it's completely legal and acceptable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have no arguments for weed being illegal at all.
I know we've mentioned this before and I never actually looked it up. So, yes, there are ways to test the blood for alcohol and drugs and this, that, and the other, and measurements and all that kind of shit. But alcohol isn't stored the same way as THC.
That's interesting. What do you mean?
So, marijuana, the whatever the THC, I don't even remember, something.
Long medical word.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's stored in the fat cells.
Yeah.
So you smoke, you could still test positive for 20, 30 days after.
Yeah.
If you
depending on how much you smoke and your body fat
percentage, right?
Yeah.
So alcohol, once it goes through the livers, and there is a definite time you can measure as to the alcohol level and when that last drink was, and if they're intoxicated based on that 0.048, whatever the hell it is. I should probably know that, but I can't think of it right now.
Oh, we don't drink and drive, so it really doesn't affect us.
I've been drinking, so that's maybe
we're not driving. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying, well, I can't remember the number. But there's
I think it's 0.08 actually.
That's what I said, 0.04, 0.08,
okay,
the legal limit. Either way. So with THC, it's either not as easily done, or it costs a whole bunch of money and no one's going to pay for it to whether it's the company where they're not going to do that test or want to change that law because they're not going to have to pay for that test or this, that, and the other. It's all about.
I see where you're going. That makes sense, but also doesn't.
Why I don't think it should be illegal if you can't definitively say they are or aren't under the influence at XYZ time, then you can't really. You know what I mean? You don't have anything to stand on.
All right. So the first breathalyzer, as we currently know it, was developed by Robert Frank Borkenstein in 1958. Borkenstein coupled a photometer with a reaction between the alcohol and a subject's breath with a potassium dichromate.
Dichromate.
Yep, dichromate. What I said. So at one point in time...
It was a drunkometer.
Drunkometer. Exactly what it is. So at one point in time, alcohol was legal, right? And you could buy it. And then if for some reason you got pulled over and a cop could give you a breathalyzer and showed you were over a limit, whatever that limit was set by the law, and you get charged with a DUI, right? Just because we don't have the equivalent of a breathalyzer for marijuana, it's not a good reason in my mind, in my opinion, for the government to say, we won't let you do this.
Oh, no, I agree. I absolutely agree.
Because you can still do a standardized field sobriety test, and if you're stoned as fuck, you're not going to pass it. You know what I mean? But I guarantee you, if it was legal and there was some money in developing a test, there's some smart motherfuckers out there that will make a bunch of money from the government by developing one. Right? Because in 1958, prior to that, it wasn't there. And I bet you in 1959, it was still super expensive and law enforcement agencies weren't willing to pay for it. So eventually that technology was perfected. Because look at this fool right here. That motherfucker looks big as shit. And that's a whole loaf of bread he's blowing into. Now if you go to one that breathalyzers fit in a cop's pocket. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they even have the ones that like this, that sit on a freaking desk. You literally have to come into a station after being suspected of being drunk and driving, and then blow into it, and then the cop does a report based off the reading of this machine.
Now you can fucking blow into a machine for your car to start.
Yeah, of course. But clearly, it was invented, and then the technology was perfected and invaded on and made easier. Yeah. I think the same thing could happen if there was an incentive to create it.
Yeah, agreed.
But there's no money in creating a test like that. So now you just take a piss test, that's obligated from your employer before they hire you, or if there's an incident that happened. And then if the fact that you have THC in your bloodstream means that they can fire you, no problem. Well, that doesn't mean that you didn't smoke 2.5 weeks ago and you've been completely sober ever since. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if our only argument for not making weed legal is that people would be under the influence and operate in a vehicle on public roads, well, I don't think it would take very long to develop a test like that. And there may be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just you don't hear about it or see it because it's too expensive, or
yeah. That's literally like the only thing I could think of as to,
which is a good argument,
but it still doesn't support it.
Yeah.
All it does is give a reason as to why a job may not hire you, or you could get charged criminally if you didn't were driving and you peed in a cup and you had marijuana. It just gives somebody a reason to say, oh, it was XYZ. Doesn't mean that it should be illegal.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, my whole political opinions, or my opinions on society, stem from my belief in freedom. If I haven't done anything wrong, I shouldn't be punished or restricted from something I want to do, or possess, or own, or participate in. So if I haven't driven under the influence, or haven't shown up to work in an altered mental state, then there's no reason for me to be punished.
Yeah.
Right? Or restricted. So if I can use a substance responsibly in the privacy of my own home, why would my employer give a fuck? Why would a cop give a shit? You know what I mean? Why am I being punished? Or told you can't do that? That don't seem right to me.
Because somebody with money put money in other people's pockets a long time ago, just like you said.
Yeah. I don't agree with it. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
So I think the way it should work is we should treat cannabis just like alcohol. And there's plenty of evidence to support that would work out really well. There's plenty of regions in this country.
It would if you could legally charge somebody with being under the influence at the time XYZ was created.
Well, there's a ton of drugs, right?
Yeah.
That somebody could be under the influence of, even prescribed by a doctor, that alters your mental state, and then that person makes the bad decision to go get on a public road in a vehicle. It may not be alcohol, it may not be weed, it could be freaking anything. Painkillers, or medicine that makes you drowsy.
But alcohol is the only thing that has a number with a legal limit over it.
Right, but I'm saying right now, legally, I can go to the doctor and I have let's say I have awful allergies, and they prescribe me some kind of antihistamine, but it also makes me drowsy, and because of that, I should not be on the road. But if I am on the road and I fall asleep while driving on the interstate, or and then boom, I get in a wreck and I kill somebody, there's some legal repercussions that can come back on me for that, right?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with weed or alcohol or anything like that. I got prescribed this by a doctor. And there may not be a test that a police officer can give me on the side of the road when he pulls me over, right? But I'm still going to get some type of criminal charge. So just because we don't have a simple test like a breathalyzer for marijuana yet, does not mean it should be federally illegal.
I never said it did.
I'm just making a point. I'm not arguing with you.
All I'm saying is we can't treat it just like alcohol until we can accurately measure it and say XYZ.
Yeah, we can. That point I will argue. Because we can do a sobriety test. Whether I'm high on marijuana or I'm high on hydrocozones or what's a freaking another drug?
There's
hundreds
sleeping
of them, right?
drugs. There's trazodone and
yeah, right. If I decide for some reason I want to take 3 Ambiens and I'm like, shit, I need to run to the gas station real quick and I wind up getting in a wreck. Well, there's not a breathalyzer for Ambien, but I'm clearly going to get some type of criminal charge for driving while under influence of a substance, right? Whether it's Ambien or weed, we can treat it the same way. And that's not a reason why Ambien or weed should be illegal.
Brings me to a whole other topic that field sobriety test I think is bullshit.
Could be, but why?
Have you seen me try to do anything?
That's not a good legal argument, but I see what you're saying. Some people just aren't the best drivers. Like, we're not all NASCAR drivers.
I'm not talking about driving. I'm talking about the clumsiness and like
how you tend to walk into objects that never move, like a counter, or a table, or a wall.
And I have no depth perception in my eye, and they're going to charge me because maybe I don't have the greatest balance and I can't walk on a piece of tape on the ground. Like, that's what I have a problem with.
Okay, but I mean, that's a kind of a different situation because you have a physical disability, but the government still gave you a driver's license to operate on public roads. So that's a little bit different than you choosing to take a substance and be in an altered mental state.
Right. But if all they do is a field sobriety test, they don't have access to my medical records.
You can fight that in court.
But that's the whole point. I'm going to get charged and have all this other stuff going on.
Potentially. Well, a cop can't charge you, right? Okay. Only a court can. But I see what you're saying.
I will get arrested and brought to jail.
Sure, possibly. Most likely not, right? But I see what you're saying. I still hold the same opinion that weed should be legal.
I agree.
And there's no good grounds that it should be illegal. Yeah. And we're wasting a lot of money and taking a lot of people's freedoms away strictly from marijuana, and we're creating a underground market where exchanges for money are taking place that does not produce taxes, because freaking drug dealers do not pay taxes. So if the IRS and the U.S. government is worried about us making transactions above $600, look that up if you haven't heard about it, and worried about every cent every year for every individual that they bring in, then why not open up this market? Because weed is obviously very popular, and they could create a brand new tax revenue stream. So it's way more beneficial to legalize it and maybe regulate it just like alcohol is, where it's safe for consumers. Our medicine, that's regulated as well. Mm-hmm. People aren't just growing this shit and lacing it with shit and distributing it to whoever they can get to purchase it, and going through other illegal dealers. Like, it's just, by it being illegal makes our society less safe.
I agree with that.
I think that's all I got.
Okay.
So, I like weed.
Obviously.
I like alcohol, and I like freedom. And I like the motorboat.
You get a shirt that says WAF.
What?
Read alcohol freedom. WAF.
Okay, we're coming with an acronym for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll catch on, just wait.
Okay, we'll see. All right, you got anything else for us?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, I think that's a wrap. Thanks for watching Just Drinking Problems, and clearly our topics and opinions on those topics will keep us from always being monetized and highly shared by the algorithms of these tech companies. So if you like the show, you can check out rebelshirts.com. If you don't want to spend any money, then at least like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and show some support, and we'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. We can't make real change, but we can definitely have a drink about it and talk shit.
Cheers.
All right, you ready for your bye?
Bye.
Hey, look at me like that.
Because I was going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Like you had to remind me. I know I got to say bye.
Okay.
All right. Bye, guys.
Cool. That's a damn good shit.